The only thing missing now is grenades. Why aren't the pirates attacking now? Oh my god, he has a grenade. Oh my god, it's so bad. Welcome to History Legends. As you can see, my eye is finally better, and that means more videos for you guys. And in honor of the eye patch I had in the previous video, I'll do a step-by-step analysis of this British amphibious assault against pirates from the TV show Black Sails. I tagged Brandon in this video because he already did a review of this movie, but I still have a lot of comments to add on top of what he already said. And as always, before we start, don't forget to like, hit the bell, and subscribe. And check out my unique veterans book, link is in the bio. The Royal Navy. Let's see if Britannia still rules the waves. Okay, these guys are gonna get wrecked. Holy shit. I'm not a naval expert, but from what it seems in this show, the artillery barrage from these ships is pretty light. So according to the ships that were built during this time period, so the show takes place in 1715, ships of the line range between 60 to 90 guns. And now we can see 3 ships firing at the pirates. That means a total of 180 to 270 guns to blast this barricade. Not a fortified bastion, but a makeshift barricade. And you know what? This is actually why armies were reluctant to defend beaches in the 18th century. You might have heard of the siege of Quebec City in 1759. But during this siege, the British attempted one of the rare beach assaults of the entire 18th century, which we will refer to a lot in this video. It is a forgotten event called the Battle of Beauport that took place on July 31st, 1759. So during this battle, to avoid being annihilated by British cannons positioned on the opposite shore, the French entrenched their troops along the hillside and not directly on the beach. And before making this video, I never understood why they positioned themselves so far from the shore, but now it makes complete sense. Saving Private Ryan, 1715. Why aren't the pirates attacking now? Oh my god. The pirates should have been right at the water. And now it's too late. What a bad defensive position. We already covered the reason why defending a beach doesn't make sense when you face 200 cannons. The pirates here had 2 choices if they wanted to prevent this British assault. Number 1, directly fortify the forest behind them and use this camouflage and natural defenses to their advantage. Option 2 would have been to directly position their makeshift barricade at the water. That way you can't even let the enemy settle down and position themselves to attack your position. You literally cut them down as they arrive towards you. But let's be honest, both scenarios in this case are totally absurd. Because pirates, if they actually wanted to cause massive damage to this professional army, the best thing for the pirates would have been to set up ambushes all along the road from the beach to their city and constantly harass the British soldiers that don't know where they're going. And the British would be stuck on little roads they can't maneuver, and casualties would have been massive. And the pirates would have simply been able to fire a few shots, then retreat, set up another ambush, and do this over and over. No spoilers, but this is the following scene, and it's so bad we're not even gonna cover it. But At least they have something right. And now I'm gonna do a little rant on uniforms. Now this show takes place in 1715, just at the end of the War of Spanish Succession. If that doesn't ring a bell, maybe Marlborough and the Battle of Blenheim will. Now check out the uniform that British soldiers would have had during the War of Spanish Succession and the one depicted in this show. Just for the most obvious elements, in 1715 the British would have had very large coats, overall more colorful and bright uniforms, and they wore shoes with white high socks and not boots. But then I thought that perhaps I'm too harsh on them and that they simply used the typical British uniform, the red coat uniform from the American Revolution because it's just more famous. But it's not even close! First of all, in the show, the British soldiers wear too much brown when it should be white. And then, if we're gonna go super picky, their ammunition pouch is attached in their back and held together by the belt. When in reality, the point of a belt is to hold your pants. And then you have this sort of strap across your chest that holds your ammunition pouch in a way that is easily accessible. Now to get back, at the beach assault of Beauport, the British sent 13 companies of 50 men each to secure the beach. British Grenadiers were elite units at the time, which could be the equivalent of sending special forces today. And in his video, I think Brendan mentioned the beach assault at Bunker Hill, and that time it was also British Grenadiers that led the assault. Pretty interesting fact that nobody ever mentions. Okay, this is so ridiculous. It's going down. How can they even shoot these guys? It's not even in their field of vision. Oh my god, this is so bad. And they have guns. Man, these guys are snipers. Where's the smoke? There's literally no smoke. Oh my god, this is so bad. Where's the smoke? Oh my god. Muskets at a time would release an enormous amount of smoke and gunpowder in the air. Right after the first volley, the entire battlefield would be covered by a huge cloud of smoke, rendering visibility null. And you can imagine, with so much smoke on the battlefield, every additional volley would be less accurate than the previous one. But now let's do some calculation. The landing craft measures 1 centimeter on my screen, but in real life they measure 25 feet. And there are 10 centimeters between the two forces, so that makes about 250 feet, or equivalent to 100 paces. And that's really the furthest a shootout would have taken place at during that time period. So that's something that's well portrayed in the show, even though I don't think they did it on purpose. But it does give us a depiction as to how close enemy lines actually were. They could literally see the enemy. It must have been very stressful to actually see the enemy you're firing at, especially when they're also aiming at you. And that's something that I would have liked to see in this show, a bit of the stress of firing. You see, these guys, they all fire as if it's normal business, but actually people were scared. But one thing that triggers me in this scene is fire accuracy. You gotta understand that in 1815, at the end of the Napoleonic Wars, it was already so bad. So you can imagine how bad the accuracy was 100 years before that. As a rule of thumb, like really general, at 100 paces, the casualty rate would be 5%. But it varied greatly depending on the training of the unit, the weather and all this. It is recorded that some units needed 300 musket balls to hit one target in open field. Now imagine against men that are hidden behind a barricade. So that means there's no point for the attackers to engage in an exchange of fire. And this is why at Beauport and at Bunker Hill, the British Grenadiers simply fixed bayonets and charged. The defenders would be scared and would only have the time to fire a few imprecise shots before running away or getting shish kebabbed. So we talked about fire accuracy, but there's one thing I like about the pirates is that they only have a few guys shooting and the other ones are reloading. This actually happened a lot historically. The best shooters would be at the barricade and the guys that are less good at firing would simply reload, and that would ensure a continuous stream of fire on the enemy. However, what is super silly in this show is that they simply fire at random guys, but we know that the best shooters would always fire at officers first. The moment officers are down, the entire unit loses cohesion and often retreats away from the battlefield. There's something I forgot to mention when filming, but talking about officers, the show accurately provides them a halberd, but they're only used to tap on the ground. The real reason why they had such a weapon was actually very practical. When lowering their muskets to aim at the enemy, soldiers would naturally aim at the enemy's torso. But with recoil, the bullet would fly way above the enemy's head. For this reason, soldiers were trained to aim at the enemy's feet. That way the bullet was expected to hit the torso. Now that's the theory, but to ensure that this would actually be done in the chaos of a battle, officers were handed halberds to push down the muskets of the entire line of soldiers before allowing them to fire their volley. So the show gets the premise right with the halberd, but then doesn't follow through with the actual use of this weapon. Alright, useless shootout. Alright, they brought the mortars, but the soldiers don't have bayonets. Makes total sense. The only thing missing now is grenades. Bazooka. Oh my god, he has a grenade. Oh my god, it's so bad. Okay, the British advance, but they have no bayonets. What's the point? I didn't watch the series, so let me know what you think. But why didn't the British directly attack the pirate harbor? The French actually did that in 1710, so the same time period, against Rio de Janeiro when they attacked directly through the harbor. And it presents multiple benefits. Not only is it easier to disembark troops in the harbor than on the beach, but it effectively cuts the pirates from the supply lines. And the Royal Navy could destroy the ships, the pirate ships. Pirates need their ships to survive and to make money. And to finish the story of the beach landing at Beauport, what happened is that musket fire from militiamen in the entrenchments up the hill stalled the British advance. British casualties were going up, and then a summer storm broke out, causing British soldiers and their gunpowder to become wet and rendering firearms unusable. General Wolfe ordered a retreat and recorded 443 losses, 210 killed and 233 wounded, about 2/3 of the men that landed, while the French counted 60 killed and wounded on their side, mainly from the artillery battery positioned on the opposite shore. With that being said, what did you think of my analysis? If you have anything else to add, comment below. Now if you're interested in epic battles, check out my insane collection of military art. Link is in the bio. One of my favorite ones is the defense of Rorke's Drift, truly a masterpiece.